With the rise of podcasts over the years, you might be thinking about starting your own podcast. So in this video, I'm just going to give you some ideas to help you set up your own podcast studio. If you want more music related content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified about more videos like this. Shout out to Z Sounds for sending me most of this gear. They have a lot of great options to start your podcast soon as possible. Link in the description. If you guys are looking for voiceover, vocal templates, and stuff like that to help you get a great sound in a short amount of time, check out themusicgame.com. Link in the description. All right, gang. So if you guys are thinking about starting your own podcast, you got to think about a lot of things as far as like setting up everything. And there are multiple different ways you can set up your own podcast, but there are mainly 3 different ways you can go about this: the beginner level, the basic level, and the advanced. Let's start at the beginner level. One thing that you could do to start your own podcast at the beginner level is get like a USB microphone. Now, when I say beginner level, that don't mean that you're going to be a beginner podcast and you suck or anything like that. Beginner level as far as gear wise, a USB microphone is very cheap and inexpensive. And, you can get a lot done with the USB microphone if you're just starting out a podcast or something like that. Personally, I'm not a big fan of USB microphones just because you could do so much more with the traditional setup with the interface and microphone. But we're going to get into that a little bit later in this video. So if you're getting like a USB microphone, maybe like a Blue Yeti is a great option. If you want to check that out, those are really great microphones and they have a great sound. Just make sure if you're going to get multiple different guests, you might want a USB hub or something like that to get all your microphones in there. Even then, that might be difficult to set up multiple different people at one time to record using a USB microphone. So personally, I would not recommend this way if you're going to have a lot of people on your setup, because depending on what program you use, you could probably only use one microphone at a time. Next is the basic level, where you have your mic and your interface. Personally, I'm using the SM7B microphone right now, which is a really great option for, podcasts. This microphone, you can pretty much do anything at it. It's very versatile. Also, if you're looking for an alternative, maybe you don't want to spend $399 for this microphone. This is the standard SD1. This is a really great microphone. It kind of almost looks like an SM7B clone, but I don't know. I don't know if this was their intention to make a clone, but they sound similar. They sound great. And throughout this video, I'm just going to switch between the two just so you can get a good idea of what this microphone sounds like as well. Both of these microphones have a high band pass. So if you're at a beginner level setup where you just have a mic and an interface, sometimes you don't have a high band pass on your interface. So both of these microphones has that option just so you can just get some of those low rumbles that, maybe someone's tapping on the desk or something like that. That stuff can get picked up in the microphone. So that little feature there will cut those noises out and help you get a cleaner sound. Both of these microphones have those settings in the back. So it's really easy to get to. You just flip it in the back and then you have that opportunity to change how your microphone sounds. I really like that option for, podcasts. If you have these microphones and maybe you just don't want to get the SM7B, you can get a lot more of these than this. And now I'm going to switch over to this microphone. So now I have the Universal Audio Standard SD1 here. And this, as you can see, sounds like a great microphone. I do have it plugged into like some very advanced stuff right now, but we're getting into that later if you want to take your basic podcast setting to the next level. There are some other microphones that you can use if you're thinking about using a condenser microphone, which you have to use phantom power. So you got to make sure your interface that you use has phantom power. So, maybe if you want a condenser microphone, check out the Neumann TLM103 or the U87. I've been seeing some other people like on Fresh and Fit use the U87, and those are really great microphones. They sound extremely well, and I love those microphones. But if you want to take a cheaper route, and especially if you're on the come up and you're just starting out, something like this right here, which is a really great price, you can get and have a lot more of these microphones than like a U87. You definitely want to think about the future before you even click that button to buy that interface. You got to think about the future. How many people are going to be on your podcast? If it's going to be like 2 people and for sure there's not going to be any more than that, then of course go with the interface that has at least 2 inputs. Maybe like a Vault or a Scarlett, or maybe even like a Twin X, which has a lot of options, which I highly recommend. If for sure you're gonna have like 6 or more people, or maybe even just 4 or more people on your podcast, you're gonna wanna make sure you have at least a microphone input for each and every person. Some people are actually taking the mixer route. Instead of getting an interface, they're getting a mixer instead. If you have something like a dynamic microphone, like one of these, the SM7B or this microphone here, the standard SD1, You know, using a mixer is a really great option because you have all your knobs right there. If you need to make some quick adjustments on the fly, you have the opportunity just to change that right then and there. So mixers are really great for podcasts. Personally, I don't have any mixers in my studio, but I will recommend any of those in the description. If you purchase anything from the links in my description, I really appreciate it. At no extra cost to you, it does help out with the channel. So for your basic setup, a microphone and an interface is pretty much good to go. Even with your basic setup, you know, you want to have a really good mic stand. Now this is a Rode mic stand. I will put the link in the description exactly what stand this is, but this is a very strong stand. I've put other things on here like the Neumann U87 on this stand, and it holds it very well, you know, especially like if your desk is like flat and everything like that. And so far I've never had any issues with this stand. Even at a basic level, I would still probably recommend, you know, getting some room acoustic treatment. Right now I have Prime Acoustic London 12s and all over the room, and they be doing a really great job from keeping the echoes from bouncing around my room. Personally, I think it's a really great option to have these type of panels on your wall. Not only does it look good, but it does really great with your sound. You're going to get really high quality vocals from your room and your podcast setup. The next tier is extreme. Now, if you want to have the pro level, high quality audio, best setting possible, you know what I'm saying? Like best sound quality for your podcast, the next step you'll probably take it is a preamp and a compressor. Personally, I have the Neve 1073, my favorite preamp of all time, and I've also got a distressor here, the EL8X, which has a lot of great options as far as compressor, and it also emulates other great compressors as well, so you can get so many varieties of different compressors to help you get a great sound. Personally, with the setup that I have right now, you're going to get this type of quality. Let me know right now in the comments, does this sound really good or not? Now, after you have all that gear and you have everything figured out, what program are you going to use? Personally, I like Pro Tools. That's my favorite DAW for recording vocals, but you can use anything. You can use Reaper, you can use Audacity. If you're just starting out, I will highly recommend Audacity because it's free. You don't have to pay anything. But if you get a Universal Audio products, you know, you can also use Luma. And I would probably use Luma over, you know, Pro Tools if, you know, I wasn't stuck on Pro Tools, you know what I'm saying? But I really like Luma. It's free if you're a Mac user. You know, if you're on Windows, then go with Audacity, you know what I'm saying? That's free. Or FL Studio, just buy FL Studios. You can use that for podcasts as well. But those are my recommendations as far as like programs to use for your podcast setup. Let me know in the description if you guys have some better recommendations on gear or audio setup for like, you know, programs, DAWs. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, link in the description. And again, make sure you guys check out zsounds.com. Thank you so much for sending me most of this stuff here. If you guys are looking for voiceover, vocal templates and stuff like that to help you get a great sound in a short amount of time, check out themusicgame.com, link in the description. And let me know what other gear you guys want to see me review. And did you guys like the sound quality of this Universal Audio Standard SD? I don't know, man. I kind of like the sound of this thing. It sounds really good. That's it for today. You guys stay safe. Peace.